What's going on, movers? Hopefully the audio is good here today. It might not be, and if it isn't, leave a comment down below. Now, what today's all about is just this idea that mobility is about incorporating into your daily routines. Okay, so it's not necessarily about, hey, let's block out 20, 30 minutes, maybe even an hour to work on our mobility. And yes, that's great, and I do suggest doing that at least one day a week. But the majority of the days is simply just incorporating it with what you're already doing. So here we are at the dog park. For those of you that were following along for the month of June and July, our 30-day power warm-up challenge turned into a 45-day power warm-up challenge, and we're back at it. And this habit and routine has been continuing ever since then. Just haven't been filming it, but we're back on live today, so that for those of you that are either new to the group or just need a reminder to get yourself moving, that's what this is all about. It doesn't matter if it's perfect or not. It's just about doing it. Consistency compounds. So I'm going to go through my little power warm-up routine. I even brought my power band to do a little bit extra. But for those of you that were following along, you know what to do. If you're new to this, I'll try to explain it as we go here. So we're going to balance on one leg, get this knee nice and high, squeeze our forearm nice and tight. We're going to do hand and foot circles, and we're going to try to coordinate them. I want the fingers and toes at 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, making as big of a circle as you possibly can, squeezing your forearm as tight as you can, and then changing directions. Really good for your balance, your coordination, opening up the tissues of your forearm to improve wrist mobility, improving ankle mobility, the whole gamut. So this all happens just by working on it every single day. Consistency compounds. 5 minutes a day, every day is way better than just a giant block of time and then not doing it again for a while. From here, we're going to push down into the meaty part of our neck, these trap muscles up here, where usually we get a massage or we work on our neck. We can do that ourselves. So we just push down on this big meaty part, and we do some arm circles. Where you're pushing down doesn't have to be a specific location. Instead, I'd encourage you to play around with where you're pushing down, because every day might be a little bit different. Now we want this circle to be as big as it possibly can be, taking the hand and reaching it and pressing it away from us. I like my hand open, and I'll even pull my fingers back a little bit to make it even more effective. But if you can't do this with your arms straight, then go out here and keep your arms straight. But I don't want to see your arm bent so much, because the ultimate goal is to improve range of motion as far away from our body as we can while keeping this arm straight. So if we're here, that's not actually range of motion. That's you bending at your elbow to make it look like your hand is there. And for those of you that play golf, if you struggle with your arms breaking down in the backswing, that's exactly what this is. So let's switch it up on the other side as well. Same deal. Push down. You get out of this what you put into it. So spend as much or as little time as you're willing to. But just know that if you don't put in the work, you're not going to see the results. Awesome. Switch it up a little bit. This side is a little bit tighter for me. I sleep on my left shoulder, and so sometimes I wake up and it's all jacked up, and we got to open it up a little bit. Speaking of opening it up, we're going to take that left arm, go across the chest, right hand on at the elbow. The straight arm here is going to push away from my body, while the bent arm is going to pull in towards my body. Now, if you guys have any questions along this way, drop your comments and questions down below so that we can make sure that we get to them and tailor this content to your specific needs. And then we'll switch up the other side here. Straight arm across the body, bent arm pulls, straight arm pushes. They fight each other. My arms are pushing and pulling pretty hard. I'd call this probably an 8 out of 10 right now. And then we lift up nice and slowly. Try to get as much range of motion into that shoulder as we can. And then back down. This time, I'm going to do the second one. Cool. Now, diver's presses. Both arms out in front. Left arm on top, palms together. Up over our head. We're going to reach up. We're going to press our hands together. We're going to squeeze our elbows together. We're going to squeeze our shoulders together. And as we're doing this, we're taking big breaths. And we're turning our hands slowly so that the backs of our hands are together and then the palms of our hands are together, and just back and forth, and then a big sweep down and back to open up the neck and the chest. And we're going to do it one more time. This time, right arm on top instead of the left arm on top. We go back up, squeeze them together. We got Mr. Goose running around in the background. Talk about mobility. He is ready to go at any time, and that's what the true sense of mobility is we want to be able to, no matter what the day throws at us, perform. So if you're ever finding yourself making an excuse like, oh, I'm not ready, I can't play golf yet, I'm not warmed up, or oh, I can't do that, I need to warm up. What are you doing? You should have warmed up in the morning, and then you should have just kept the ball rolling throughout the day. All right, let's go into some flip downs here. We're going to keep our chest nice and tall, Arms up, pull the arms down, flip the hands in the bottom position. Notice my chest never collapses. If it does, we lose the stretch. It doesn't actually do anything for us. So we have to keep that chest tall, keep the butt squeezed and core engaged to help you maintain that posture. And then from here, we can turn these into toe touches with a little sky reach. And every time we go down, we're going to try to go a little bit farther. Knees do not need to be locked out. Although over time, we're going to see some improvements in that range of motion throughout your hips. From here, right arm behind the body, left hand on the elbow. Drive the elbow up while pulling it down at the same time. Big stretch down the side of the body. We lean to the side. Hey Goose, you want to say hi to everybody? Goose is having a fun time today. Oh yeah. Let's get the ball. Ready? Good. And then we do the other side. Left arm, drive it up, pull it down, lean to the side, big breath. Hold that breath, keep pushing, keep squeezing. As you exhale, you can go a little bit farther. We'll go one more time each side. This one's feeling a little tight on me today. And one more on the other side just to keep things balanced. Give me 1 second here. We're going to throw the ball for Goose. Hey, buddy. All right, go get it. Awesome. From here, trunk twists. Now, as we're twisting, I'm keeping one of my legs straight. I'm turning into it, kind of like we're posting up into a golf shot. Getting our hips to be able to rotate, while at the same time opening up the rotation centers of the neck and the chest. Now from here, we're going to get into kind of a golf posture. Keep the knees out, super important. Do not let them come in. Keep those knees out. We reach up and back, up and back. This is just as much a hip stretch as it is a chest stretch. Thoracic spine rotates, hips lock into place. You need to make sure that those are open to be able to perform, not just in golf, but in everything. Cool. From here, knee up, squeeze it into your chest nice and tight. Send it behind you. Split stance. Drive that back leg down, squeeze your butt, push the hips forward, big stretch in the front of the right leg. We're going to twist into our front leg and reach up and over. Because my right leg is back, my right arm is up. We're going to hang out here. Feeling a good stretch from the base of my ribs all the way down to about my knee, with the most intensive focus right here in the front of the hip. And that is the key, hip flexors and glute activation. We're going to do the other side. Squeeze it in nice and tight. Send it behind you. Same thing. Drive the back leg down while squeezing the butt and pushing the hip forward. Because they're fighting each other, one's going back, one's going forward, we get a nice big stretch. Twist into the front leg, reach up, hold. Again, feeling the stretch from the bottom of the rib cage all the way down to the knee, with the most intensive part of it right here in the front of the hip. And then lastly, in our power warm-up, we're going to do some hip rotation with some side squats. So here we are, one leg is straight, one leg is bent. We're going to take the straight leg and we're going to push it down. Okay, I'm pushing my foot down, pushing my knee down, pushing my hip down. I'm pushing pretty good. Right now, I'll call it a 5 or 6 out of 10. We're going to add windshield wipers if and only if your hip will allow you to do this. If this causes knee pain, back pain, hip pain, don't do it. Spend more time in this position, pushing down, letting your tissues adapt, and over time, we can add things like windshield wipers and teeter-totters. We're going to switch sides, same thing, push the whole leg down. We're going to rotate, feeling this way up in my hip joint. Really good stuff. Goose may knock the camera over. What are you doing up there, buddy? Good, so there's the power warm-up. Now, because we're going to go above and beyond today, as I'm going to be hitting some golf balls and prepping to play some golf, we got my power band. Power band, we're going to do some basic stuff here today. We're going to start with pass-throughs. We're going to take the band, apply a little bit of tension on it, and we're going to go all the way back and all the way forward, trying to maintain my posture, trying to keep my arms straight. By adding a little bit of tension onto the band, it helps strengthen your joints in their end range positions. Because again, it's one thing to be strong near the core, but in golf we need to be strong near the core and away from the core. And the stronger we are away from the core, the better we're going to do. That's where we get control. That's where we get all sorts of great athletic performance from. If anybody's been watching the Olympics, gymnastics, really good example of this. They are incredibly strong both near their core and away from their core. Really athletic people, they know how to use their bodies very well. Okay, so we're just tugging on this band. It's got a little bit of tension. It's not about how much tension. I just want there to be some. You don't have to double the band up like this. You can also do a single layer thick, just depending on the integrity of your joints. Because if your shoulders are super tight, then trying to pull while doing this might suck. It might hurt a lot. So don't do anything that your body won't naturally let you do. From here, we can go up top. We can go side to side. Again, just making sure that we're getting as much range of motion into our shoulders as we can, keeping a little bit of tension on that band the whole time, because that tension is the key. Now to follow this up, we're going to take a second, we're going to push. We've been pulling, I want to push, so I'm pushing. We can do some swims, we can do elbows together and back. There's all sorts of different motions that we can do. There's no right answer. It's about you playing around and feeling like, oh man, when I get into this position, that feels really good right here. Great, spend more time there. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. There are general principles that we can follow, but to fill in the blanks, to color between the lines, that's up to you. You get to choose what colors we're going to use. Now from here, we're going to step on the band. We're going to work lower body for a minute. So we're going to step on the band. We're going to take this extra piece here, bring it up over our shoulders for stability. We're going to get into a squat. We're just going to go side to side. As we go side to side, we stay low. You're going to want to stand up. Why? Because your butt is weak. I want your butt to be on fire. So we go side to side, get those hip joints warm, get the butt fired up. Super, super important. If you want to take it to the next level, overhead. Try to maintain that posture. Don't overextend your back. Not easy to do. Now from here, we can also do more shoulder work. Up top, and then slowly out to the sides, trying to maintain as we go. And then finally, just to go above and beyond today because I'm feeling good, we're going to go back into our Samson lunge that we did from the power warm-up routine. But this time, as we twist, we're going to pull the band. So we get into that same position we were before, turn to the side. And once I'm here, I'm going to then take a breath and pull the band. And as I exhale, try to turn farther. Switch sides. Not easy to do. So I get in position, feel the stretch right here, turn. I can't go any farther. Big breath. Pull the band. Try to keep turning. Keep feeling the stretch in the hip. And as you exhale, now you can go a little bit farther. And this tricks our body into improving the range of motion. Because the key is activation in the positions that you're weak. So if your shoulders are tight, put your shoulder in the position where it can't go any farther. Then squeeze all the muscles that surround the shoulder joint, and over time, your shoulder mobility increases. But the key, as I said all throughout this video, and as I've been saying for years, is consistency, okay? Doing a 30 to 60 minute stretch once a month, sure, you're gonna feel good afterwards, but it's not gonna last. You gotta show up every day. It's like brushing your teeth. 2 minutes a day goes a long way, but if you skip it for a few days, few weeks, few months, few years, you need to go see a specialist. They're gonna have to do some surgery on your mouth. They're gonna have to remove teeth-filled cavities, whatever it is. Your mobility is no different. If you spend a couple of minutes a day, you're gonna stay with it. But if you neglect it, you're gonna tear your rotator cuff. You're gonna need surgery. You're gonna pop your ACL. All of these things will happen. It's just a matter of how quickly. So don't neglect your body, because when you move better, you play better. I'll see you all tomorrow.